Churches, educators, and healthcare workers have joined a lawsuit against the Trump administration to ban federal immigration agents from places like hospitals and schools. The suit is being spearheaded by Oregon's Farm Worker Union, and initial arguments began in federal court today. Fox 12's Julia Lopez joins us now live outside Legacy Emanuel Hospital. Julia, what can you tell us?
Well, nurses at this hospital have claimed for months that federal agents that bring detainees in for medical care aren't following protocol, and that scares other patients out of seeking care. That's why the nurses union says they're joining with teachers and church leaders to join PCUN, the farm workers union, in asking a judge to issue protections.
These are places where our families go to learn, heal, and to come together.
Churches, nurses, teachers, and farm workers are joining forces, asking a federal judge to keep ICE out of their buildings.
Families stop going to doctors, parents avoid the ER room, and the places where we're supposed to be safe become places that people fear. And these are protections that the government broke.
Last January, the Trump administration opened places of worship, hospitals, and schools to federal immigration agents. PCUN, an Oregon Farm Workers Union, sued DHS in an attempt to restore previous protections, joined in part by the Hillsborough Educators Association.
Students cannot learn if they're not at school, and they cannot go to school if they do not feel safe.
President Mary Kay Babcock says absences spiked alongside ICE activity, particularly since October, when she says a parent was detained by ICE at an elementary school drop-off.
When you don't feel like your child is safe at their school bus stop, something is broken. And when our students are coming home to find that their parents have disappeared, their lives and the lives of their classmates are forever changed. As
a judge decides whether the policy change will pause as the case plays out, the Oregon Nurses Association cites urgency after a January incident when a Gresham family was detained outside a hospital while taking their 7-year-old to an appointment.
No parent should ever be forced to weigh their child's health against the risk of detention. That fear keeps people from seeking medical care, allowing treatable conditions to escalate into life-threatening emergencies.
The Trump administration says the order to allow agents into these spaces is necessary due to an illegal immigration crisis. In the meantime, ONA has spent recent weeks bargaining with Legacy Emanuel to create ICE-specific protocol, and a decision on the stay in PCUN's suit is expected sometime this week. Reporting live from Northeast Portland, Julia Lopez, Fox 12 Oregon.